MASH, today at 12:30 after Eyewitness News. Live from the spirit of the Mid-South, this is Fox 13 Eyewitness News at noon.
Fog is being blamed for at least one death in the South that happened at a multi-car pileup on Interstate 10 near New Orleans.
New details are being unveiled in the murder of a young Memphis woman in a mall parking garage. We'll have details.
I'm Tom Dees. We're live at the Children's Museum where they're gearing up for New Year's Eve. Coming up, we'll show you how to make one of these really cool party hats. Ooh.
Thanks, Tom. Good afternoon. I'm Valerie Calhoun.
And I'm Ron Meroney. Thanks for joining us on Fox 13 Eyewitness News at noon. The investigation into the murder of Angela Kyle is gaining momentum. Memphis police have called a press conference for 2 p.m. to announce their latest findings in this case. So far, here is some of what we know about the death of the 27-year-old medical social worker. Detectives say they are convinced Miss Kyle was shot one time in the head in the parking garage at Goldsmith's at Oak Court. She was left in her car in that garage since Saturday, and a security camera might have recorded evidence of her assailant. On Fox 13 Eyewitness News at 5, we'll have a complete report on the latest findings in this case.
The state of Mississippi had planned to execute the killer of Senatobia resident Ashley Galloway tonight, but it will likely be postponed as part of the appeals process. William Ray Hughes was convicted of capital murder and rape of Galloway last November. The judge set Hughes' execution by lethal injection for tonight in Jackson, Mississippi. However, due process allows Hughes access to the appeals process, and until that appeal is pursued through the courts of Mississippi, William Ray Hughes will remain a resident of death row. Bad news for the Dallas Cowboys. 2 players, including star offensive lineman Eric Williams, will be arrested today. A Dallas television station is reporting that Williams will be charged with forcing a woman at gunpoint to have sex with him. 2 other men are reportedly being charged, including one unnamed player. Now, the case reportedly involves a Sunday night incident. A team spokesman says they have not been informed about this incident.
The father of a murdered 6-year-old Boulder, Colorado girl has reportedly hired a defense lawyer. The Rocky Mountain News also says John Ramsey is no longer talking to police. But police say they haven't detained anyone in the death of John Benet Ramsey. They do say they've taken blood and writing samples from an array of friends and family members. The child's body was discovered in the basement of her family's home Thursday, about 8 hours after she was reported kidnapped. Following that horrible story, it's interesting to note that many of the country's major cities are reported less dangerous now than they were last year. Crime figures from 1996 show the murder rate fell in several cities, including New York, Boston, Dallas, Philadelphia, and Los Angeles. Experts say one reason for the drop is that police agencies have gotten tougher on violent crime. Meanwhile, some cities, including Atlanta, Las Vegas, Miami, and Washington, D.C., reported higher numbers of homicides in 1996.
Mexico City has seen a dramatic end to an attempted bank robbery that began shortly after lunchtime yesterday. 2 men and a woman burst into the bank, firing pistols and automatic weapons. Much of what then happened was captured on live television, including the final moments. Walt Christopherson has details.
3 alleged robbers were holed up for 5 hours as police surrounded the bank. Then one gunman is glimpsed inside, holding a terrified woman at gunpoint. Then one of the robbers appears at the door, a gun pointed to the heads of 2 hostages. After negotiating for a getaway car, the gunman moves slowly to the side of the vehicle. Up until this point, the robber remains unhindered by police. Suddenly, the gunman is dead. At first, police expressed regret for the death, but say it was the only way to end the crisis. Shortly afterwards, however, the Deputy Attorney General for Mexico City denies police shot the robber. The official instead maintains the gunman shot and killed himself, apparently deciding the situation was hopeless. The police, too, suffer a casualty. One Special Forces officer is reportedly wounded by the gunman, firing at the very moment of police intervention. The 2 other would-be robbers who had been involved in a shootout a few hours earlier do not escape either. They're taken into police custody. Walt Christopherson, CNN, reporting.
About 20 people have been rescued today from a 2.5-mile tunnel through the Caucasus Mountains connecting Russia and Georgia. The Interior Ministry says another 300 people remain trapped. They've been in the tunnel since it was closed at both ends by an avalanche Thursday. So far, 2 adults have died of exposure, and 2 babies were born in the tunnel. Only one of them survived. Rescuers in India are recovering dozens of corpses from the wreckage of that train that was blown off the tracks in a bombing in India. Officials say 38 bodies have been pulled out today, 7 of them children. No one has claimed responsibility for the explosion, but police suspect a rebel group who are fighting for autonomy in the region where the blast occurred. More news about trains. An ultramodern high-speed train traveling through the Paris to London Channel broke down earlier today in the middle of that 32-mile tunnel. More than 400 passengers were stranded for almost 3 hours.
Security around U.S. military facilities in Saudi Arabia is said to be even tighter today. A senior security source says Saudi authorities have received several anonymous telephone calls, all threatening to blow up places frequented by Americans. The source says the aim is to drive U.S. citizens from that country. A security officer at the U.S. Embassy in Riyadh says threats are common. However, officials are urging extra precautions. And in what appears to be a major break in the Peru hostage situation, journalists have been allowed into the Japanese ambassador's residence for the first time. As a cameraman approached the door, a rebel guerrilla shouted that they are not the terrorists government officials claim. Then he repeated their demand that their comrade rebel prisoners be freed. About 83 hostages remain inside. More than 400 have been released since the December 17th attack.
It looks like Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu may be too busy to meet today with Palestinian leader Yasser Arafat. Talks on an Israeli troop withdrawal from Hebron are continuing, and Israelis and Palestinians are said to be close to an agreement. But an Israeli government official said it's highly unlikely a summit will occur today because Mr. Netanyahu is facing a tight deadline to get his 1997 budget passed by the Knesset.
A new disclosure about contributions for President Clinton. Today's New York Times says followers of a religious group based in Taiwan gave more than $600,000 to Clinton's legal defense fund. The head of that sect says that she urged followers to give to the fund because she wanted to help the president clear his mind. Now, most of the money has been returned, but there are still questions about whether the givers expected something in return for their contributions.
Newt Gingrich's ethical problems may be costing him support in his bid to be re-elected Speaker of the House.
One House Republican is publicly opposing Gingrich's re-election, and at least 10 others say they're not sure if they'll support Gingrich either. Fox's Carl Cameron has more.
Instead of the precise ethical violations, it may be the prolonged controversy that hurts Newt Gingrich most. Partisan Democrats attack more each day, and a few Republicans now have their own doubts.
If the Republicans want to lead in a truly aggressive and responsible manner, then we can't have a speaker who is damaged goods.
Only 8 of the GOP House's 227-member majority are wavering. But if that figure grows to 20, Gingrich would lose his January 7th re-election for Speaker.
Right now, there has to be a price which is paid. And the price would be simply not to be Speaker.
After 2 years of saying hurry up, partisan Democrats are now trying to slow down the process until after Congress votes on its Speaker. They hope to further embarrass Gingrich before then with public hearings. Republicans blame Gingrich's problems on complicated tax code provisions, and since Gingrich has admitted his mistakes, they say it's time to put the controversy to rest. But some think if Gingrich criticizes President Clinton's ethical blunders now, it'll only look like the pot calling the kettle black. Most Republicans, from National GOP Chairman Haley Barbour on down, defend Gingrich. They say the Speaker's current problems are the result of a 2-year witch hunt by Democrats. Barbour even points out that the Ethics Subcommittee report found nothing illegal, nothing misleading, and nothing that should disqualify the Speaker from being re-elected. Carl Cameron, Fox News, Capitol Hill.
Heavy fog has claimed at least one life and closed much of Interstate 10 between New Orleans and Slidell. Rescue crews had to transport many victims to local hospitals this morning. This after at least 70 cars, buses, and trucks piled up in 2 separate accidents on the fog-shrouded Interstate 10 bridge over Lake Pontchartrain. The pileup on the eastbound side involved 40 to 50 vehicles. Authorities say a Greyhound bus and about 35 other vehicles crashed on the westbound side. Fog cut visibility to near zero around the water, and again, one person, Ron, is confirmed dead. Now, the fog also caused some major travel delays for Memphis commuters.
And it left some air travelers stranded at Memphis International Airport this morning. Anxious passengers watched the screens to see if their flights were on time or canceled. Most of the canceled flights were in the southeast due to heavy fog in the entire region.
Here about 3 or 4 hours, I was heading for Knoxville from San Francisco. And we got into Memphis here, and I see on the blackboard it's been canceled.
Now, if you're flying somewhere today, better call the airline. Make sure the flight has not been canceled or even delayed.
Coming up next, even the little folks should have a countdown celebration to the new year.
So Tom Dees is ringing in 1997 at the Memphis Children's Museum. We'll catch up to him in a moment. It's all ahead on Fox 13 Eyewitness News at noon.
Live local news for more than 1 million Mid-Southerners. This is Fox 13 Eyewitness News at noon with Valerie Calhoun, Ron Meroney, and Chip Washington.
It's Samuel's Furniture and Interiors year-end clearance sale. The finest names in exquisite furniture and accessories are represented, and Samuel's will pay the sales tax. You save 8.25% off the top, as well as 20 to 40% off suggested retail. That adds up to a rather tidy sum. Such a gesture of generosity is rare indeed, and comes but only once a year. Samuel's year-end clearance sale, 20 to 40% off our entire inventory and no sales tax at all 3 Samuel's locations. And do hasten, the year ends but once.
Are your debts growing out of control?
I pay hundreds on my credit cards every month, and most of it goes to interest.
If you had $15,000 in unsecured credit card debt, we can show you how to reduce your payment to about $30 a week with no interest.
I'm behind on my payments, and the repo man is after my car.
We can stop repossessions and reduce a car payment of $232 a month to only $28 a week.
Get a new financial beginning. Start by calling 324-DEBT. Call now.
One day I was sitting at home and saw the ad, call the man from Auto Plan. I came down here to 3rd and Mallory, and guess what I found out? First, I didn't have to buy my insurance at the car lot. Second, I don't have to pay twice a month. The man from Auto Plan gave me a low monthly payment that I pay once a month. It didn't even matter that my driving record is less than perfect. Auto Plan insurance can insure you no matter what your driving record is. So do what I did. Come down to 3rd and Mallory or call 946-1000 and talk to the man from Auto Plan.
Live the adventure at the Memphis Gun and Knife Show this weekend, January 4th and 5th in the Pipkin Building at the Mid-South Fairgrounds. Thousands of guns and knives, modern and antique. Winchesters, Colts, Remingtons, shotguns, rifles, Kentucky long rifles, swords, Civil War militaria, and custom knives. This weekend, January 4th and 5th in the Pipkin Building from 9 to 5 Saturday and Sunday. Buy, sell, and trade at the Memphis Gun and Knife Show this weekend, January 4th and 5th from 9 to 5 Saturday and Sunday in the Pipkin Building at the Fairgrounds.
Hi, Dick Hawley again for Nelson Builders. Many people put off getting vinyl siding and roofing on their home because they're worried about making the payments. But Mr. and Mrs. Charles Cargile just had Nelson put vinyl siding and roofing on their home. And what did you find out, Chuck?
I found out that it was a no down payment and it was easy monthly affordable payments.
And that makes a lot of difference.
Absolutely.
In addition to that, you'll never have to paint again. Insulation is built right in and it's guaranteed for life. Don't let bad credit keep you from picking up that phone right now.
It's New Year's Eve for the children, too, and the Children's Museum of Memphis planned a countdown to noon for the kids today.
Tom Dees is among the other kids with his party hat and noisemakers to welcome in the brand new year. Tom, what are the kids doing to bring in 1997?
Well, guys, a lot like me, they're putting on their party hats and they've been making noisemakers. There's stuff going on here all day long. It doesn't matter if you got kids. This is the place to be today. Joining me now is Pat Purnell. Pat is the Director of Education here at the Children's Museum. Pat, what are just some of the activities that are going on?
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
Well, we had a lot of activities going on where the kids could get ready for the countdown at New Year's party. We had attention getters.
And what is that made out of?
This is just a paper plate with streamers and confetti that the kids glued on. And then what's New Year's without a party hat, right?
Right.
I see you're wearing one of our party hats.
Now tell me what this one is made out of.
That's wallpaper. That's scraps of wallpaper.
I'm wearing wallpaper?
You're wearing wallpaper on your head, yes, with just some ribbon and some yarn. And then, of course, at New Year's, you have to have noisemakers.
Right.
I understand that you made one of those,
Yeah, I sure did. Where is it? It's right here. This is made out of a recycled plastic bottle with some confetti on it. On the other side, I put some stars. It says FOX13. I tried to spell it in the confetti, but it didn't work out near as well. What are some of these items?
Well, then we have different crafts we're doing this afternoon. We're going to tie in other cultures around the world and how they celebrate New Year's. For example, in Austria, it is considered good luck for children to get toy pigs on New Year's Day. so the kids can make a paper plate pig.
It's good luck in Memphis to eat barbecue.
Well,
So-
then there's the tie-in.
Yeah, we got
there.
a tie in there.
And in China, red is considered a very good luck color.
What does this say?
Gung Hei Fat Choi means Happy New Year in Chinese. So the children can make this Chinese scroll to take home.
And they can do that this afternoon?
We do that this afternoon. And then in the American South, as you probably know, black-eyed peas are considered good luck.
Well, Ron and Val, that should about wrap it up for us. Eat your black-eyed peas and gung hoi fat choi.
Hey, you got it. Bring us back one of those nifty little hats, Tom, okay?
It's awesome. I'm going to wear this tonight.
Oh, okay, you're a real pointy head in that, aren't you?
I'm telling you.
You'll have to open the roof of your car. And the weather's making news all over the world.
But Patty Souza is here to take a look at our local forecast right after this.